The nodes take 18 months to go through their signs. We are about to experience a nodal shift, which means that the North Node and the South Node are shifting into new signs for the first time in 18 months. I'm here to do a tarot reading for you. My name is Mimi Folco. I'm a tarot reader, astrologer, numerologer, Reiki practitioner, many other magical things here at Harvey Mountain Alchemy. And today's tarot reading is actually going to be a little bit different because we're going to be doing 12 different readings. I would say to first listen to your rising sign. So if you know what time you were born, you can plug in your birth chart and you can see what your rising sign is. And then once you've listened to that part, you can also listen to your sun and your moon if you feel like you're really highly attuned to that sun and moon as well. If you don't know what time you were born, if you don't know your rising, go off of your sun and moon because it'll still provide some important information as to what you are going to be experiencing. I'm going to be going off of the astrology based off your rising, and then I'm going to be pulling cards. So if the astrology doesn't resonate, listen to the card reading, listen to that tarot reading because that's more intuitive and I might draw off of what the astrology is saying, but I'm also just going to be reading the cards and seeing what they have to say. For those of you that don't know, the nodes are not planets or asteroids or any sort of tangible planetary body, but they are actually this axis of the moon. And so they are what cause eclipses when it comes around to eclipse season. The nodes represent a larger picture of what our purpose is and what it is that we are moving towards. And that's the North Node is what is my purpose? Who am I meant to become in this lifetime? And then the South Node is what is the release that needs to happen. In a personal natal chart, your South Node is where you are always comfortable. It's what you have always done in your past lives, or it's a recollection of everything you've ever done in past lives. So you could certainly lean into your South Node at any point, and it's sort of like a pocket or a Mary Poppins bag. You can always pull something out of it and you always have that available, but your purpose in this lifetime is always to do the opposite thing. So what we've been experiencing for the last year and a half is the North Node in Gemini and then the South Node in Sagittarius. Now, where your natal North Node tells you what your sole purpose or your main purpose of what you're meant to become in this lifetime, and your South Node is what you can always pull from, we're looking at transiting North Node and South Node. So natal is where the transiting planets were when you were born, and the current transiting planets are where they are right now. And so the South Node is moving into Scorpio and the North Node is moving into Taurus, and this is going to affect everybody in a different way. Before we get into the readings, I do just want to announce that I am still doing the giveaway. It's gonna go on until I hit those 1,000 subscribers. This intro part's gonna stick around, but basically I'm doing a giveaway when I hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm giving away 3 prizes to anybody who subscribes, comments, and then follows on Instagram if you're on Instagram, and let me know in the comments below that you did those things so I make sure that you are entered into the giveaway. I'll be giving away readings, products, you name it. So another thing I wanted to announce, which I have not ever mentioned on this channel, is that I have been taking part in a podcast, an astrology podcast. It's called The Stars Made Me Do It. It's right here if you want to check it out. It's available on all of your streaming apps, so Apple Music, Spotify, all of the things. So please go check it out. It's a really great resource, especially if you're trying to get into astrology and learn all the signs, and then it even goes into more advanced techniques and more in-depth information that you can pull from your chart. For example, we recently did an episode on empty houses. So if you've looked at your circle chart and you have nothing in the second house, that doesn't mean you don't have any money. You then need to look at specific other things in your chart. And so the last episode talks about that. It's also just like a great place to be casual and to hang out with us while we talk about astrology. And we also pull information from our listeners' charts. So if you send us your information, we might talk about your chart and give you a little advice depending on what we're talking about in the episode. So if you want to go check that out, that would be awesome. Go follow them, go rate them. It's an amazing podcast, great resource, great tool, and doesn't break the bank. All right, so let's get into the reading. I don't have piles on the table, but I do have the zodiac signs so that you can choose from the sign that you need to listen to, aka your rising, and then your sun and your moon. So yeah, let's get started. We're going to talk about the astrology, and then we're going to get into what these tarot cards have to say. All right, let's go. Hello, Aries. I have got your little charm here. So basically, let's talk about the nodes. The North Node is going to be focusing on your finances, on your values, on really being able to create something steady, secure, sturdy, stable, all of those S words, really being able to find what it is that you value and being able to stick to that, to stay fixed to it, to commit to that, right? All those Taurusy second house themes, because you're an Aries rising. This might be affecting you in Taurus ways. And then the South Node is happening in the themes of release, of death and rebirth, of transformation, and of deep healing. So I think that the next year and a half, the next 18 months might be really important for you to let go of some of the past hurts, or some of the karmic hurts, or even past life pains that you have been experiencing. Releasing this old trauma, and not even just releasing it in like, just let go, just move on, but more putting it outside of yourself and purging it. You know, so accepting that it exists, looking at it in front of you, right? That like very tangible way of experiencing healing can be really, really beautiful for you, because that's what's holding you back. That South Node, although it's a great resource for you to hold on to, it could really hold you back, because it's like, this is what you're comfortable with. You need to push into that North Node, being in Taurus and finding security, stability, and that femininity that is so divine and so healing, right? Both of these have to do with healing in a way that transmutes water into earth, transmutes this emotional, watery depth into something tangible that you can say you did, something successful that you did. So we're going to pull some cards now for what you need to know about the next 18 months. It could relate to what I just talked about. We just got Justice here. So that is very much about being fair to yourself. And look at her uncovering. She almost looks like what is fair to you is uncovering the truth, uncovering the mask that you've put on, the mask of strength that you've put on in order to brave the world. And I almost feel like by releasing this old pain or this old hurt or this rebirth is really coming towards you, like shedding this old skin that's like discolored and dry and feels like it doesn't fit you anymore, and to really be reborn into this new version of yourself. That's so, so stunning. And if anybody out there is an 11 life path or a 2 life path, this card I think is really, really important for you to focus on this rebirth of yourself. And I think there's something about shaming yourself for changing. And I mean, maybe you're calling yourself a hypocrite in some ways because you have this like deep-seated shame that you can't change your opinions. People change, people evolve, and they grow, and something you used to believe in doesn't have to be what you believe in now. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding and fairness, right? Being very equal in the way you dole out kindness to others, versus the way that you dole out kindness to yourself. All right, let's see what else we've got. Ooh. Yeah, we've got the 8 of Emotions. This is all about a release of emotions that are holding you back. In fact, I always think of this card as the Eclipse card, which is related to the nodes. And this to me is just a release, the South Node release and purging of those sort of 8th house karmic, emotional, past life pains that have been holding on to you. This is a very deep and intense time for you, Aries rising. There's so much that needs to be let go of that you might even not be consciously aware that needs to be let go of. And it's so related to the self. Yeah, and then we've got the 10 of Cups. So relishing in that North Node in your house of stability, of security, of finances, really being able to find the joy where you are, finding joy in stability too, because where the 8th house is all about deep transformation, it's also about reconstruction, which means you have to demolish something before you can build it up. And so it might feel heavy, it might feel difficult and strenuous is the word I think I'm looking for. But there's something really beautiful about that reconstruction and that rebirth that you will be experiencing during this time. So really this Justice card popped out right away and wanted you to hear it, that you are shedding old skin and becoming this new version of you, through the way of releasing those old emotions that really are just holding you back. So let's pick one more card. They're short because you have 3 different piles to look at. So what have we got? The Star. Yeah, looking towards the future, looking towards a brightness. Again, I feel like these darker, more painful themes could really be holding you back, and you could allow them to hold you back, right? Like I said earlier, the South Node is something we can always go back to, that we know well, that we can always pull from, but it's about becoming the opposite thing. It's about turning into that North Node. And so it's really important for you to keep that progress in your mind's eye as you work through the next 18 months of what you are actually working towards and who are you actually trying to become and turn into. So you've got Justice and the Star here. That's Libra and Aquarius. It's all about the mind. It's all about the connections that you're making with others. And then you've got these 2 Cups cards. So all about the emotional connection that you are releasing with others as well. All right. I hope that was helpful. I will see you guys next time. Sending you all my love. Bye. Hello, Taurus people. We've got your little charm here. So the nodes, how they are affecting you when it comes to your astrological chart, if you're a Taurus rising, we are getting hit hard, right? You've got the 1st and the 7th house, which are known as angular houses in astrology. They are intense houses for activity to be happening, especially when it comes to the nodes. So you are really being pushed to focus on you. Focusing on your identity, focusing on your appearance, your body image, your self-consciousness, or your confidence, right? Being able to focus on the vitality that is in this body that you hold. So what the opposite of that is, with the South Node being in your 7th house, is a release of your relationships, a release of perhaps the way you've always gone about relationships. Also about letting go of any sort of dependence that you have on others to show you who you are. There's deep healing that can happen in your relationships over the next 18 months, and it doesn't mean you have to let go of all the people in your life. It's more a message to say that you have growth and expansion when it comes to your relationships, because they're going to show you what you do or do not want. And they're going to show you who you are or who you are not. And so a big focus is happening on who you are, on who you want to be, on focusing on who you identify as, right? So really being solid in your existence and your presence as a human being on this planet right now. So we have that 1st and 7th house activity going on. It is intense, so make sure that you're drinking enough water, that you're getting enough rest, and that you're being kind to yourself, because the nodes going through certain houses can be very shifting, right? And so that can be a little destabilizing. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself during this time and not shaming or judging yourself for however you handle it. All right, so let's pull some cards, and they might relate to the astrology or they might be totally different. So let's see what you got. Oh, okay. All right. We've got 2 cards so far. This guy just lazily fell out. It was the Chariot. I think it's important for you to march to the beat of your own drum. And where you may have previously always followed everybody else's drum, you know, like somebody else's beat, clearly not a drummer, you really need to just follow your own sense of what you want. And you might not know what you want right now, and that's okay. That's what this time is for. That's what these 18 months, this year and a half is for. It's going to be showing you what it is that you need to untame yourself, that you have been domesticating yourself in order to appease other people. I think there's some people pleasing that's going on right now for you. And it is all about seeking your own path and following that path yourself, rather than following a path that other people have set out for you. Let's see what else fell out. The 6 of Cups. It might not be happening in this extremely fiery, intense, fast-paced way. It might be happening slowly, and it might have already been happening for some time, and now is just the time that that message really solidifies in your mind and in your heart and your soul. This is about you being able to express yourself and allowing that beauty that does hide within your heart to really come out and to really show yourself, right? I think maybe there will be a tendency over the next 18 months to regress back into old relationships. So just watch out for any ex-partners that are coming back into your life, or any sort of thoughts of going back to a past part of your life. There's sort of this rose-tinted nostalgia that's happening when it comes to your relationships. And so rather than feeding into that so much, right, that's that South Node of, I could easily go back to this, I could regress, that would be easier, that would be simpler. That's not what you're meant to be doing over the next year and a half. You are meant to be doing what might be a little bit more difficult, but ultimately will bring you a sense of confidence and empowerment. 7, this is the Chariot, which is the number 7. It is all about your personal path. It is all about what you are meant to do in order to overcome your past troubles, your past difficulties or struggles. So what are you going to do to let go of those old struggles when it comes to your relationships? And how are you going to really move forward on your own path? That's really what this is all about. Let's see, let's pick some cards on the best attitude to have during this time. All right, we've got the Four of Wands and the Six of Swords. So it feels like people might not understand what your path is. People might not understand what is stable to you, because if you do have Taurus in your chart, and specifically if you're Taurus rising, you definitely have an air of security and stability. People think that you have your shit together. And during this time, you might have to release that. You might have to let go of people thinking that you are all put together and that you are controlled and that you have everything together, basically, that you're holding it all in. And I think I'm trying to get these words all out right, but people think you have it together now and you don't feel like you do. And over the next year and a half, you're going to start feeling like you have a semblance of put togetherness, and other people are going to think you are spiraling. So for you, it's important to let go of what other people think of your process, because what you know of your process is what really matters. If you start to feel like, oh, you know what, I actually do have it all put together, I'm starting to put pieces together and I'm understanding my path, then that's all that matters. Don't get overwhelmed by whatever other people are thinking, right? That has to do with that South Node, release of other people's opinions, release of dependence on other people. It's really all about what you like about you, or your opinion on yourself. So again, treat yourself with kindness. This might be a really intense time. There might be big changes when it comes to your family life and your career, right? Because this is a big square aspect for you. All of the angles are really being highlighted right now. So it's important for you to make sure you drink enough water, get enough rest, relax a little bit. All right. I hope that was helpful. I'm sending you all of my love, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my little Gemini friends. This is your little Gemini charm. So the nodes are affecting you in the 12th and the 6th house if you are Gemini rising. Basically what this means is health is going to be highlighted, and so is, and that's your physical and your mental, as well as your sense of understanding of your place here. Because although that doesn't really speak of 12th and 6th houses, I do feel like the 6th house is all about setting an order into place, having a system of order so that you feel organized and so that you feel like you have a confident space here. And the 12th house can rule escapism. It can rule numbing out or substance abuse, or, you know, it could even rule places that pull you out of reality, which is like even a hospital or like a boarding school. It's like a bubble sort of situation. So for you, you're focusing really on that bigger picture stuff, that 12th house more. It's like I said, that escapism, but it's also about a connectedness to the world, a connectedness to the universe in a way that you don't have to understand. Where the 6th house wants to understand, wants to analyze, and wants to rationally figure out what it all means. The 12th house is really just about just accept that it is what it is, rather than having to have the control and the understanding over it all. This is also affecting you in your health and your mental health, so make sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you're treating yourself with kindness and not shaming yourself for whatever struggle you may have over the next year and a half. But know that you are being called to release that need to organize, release that need to make sure everything makes sense and is in a perfect order. I know for myself, I have OCD and I've struggled with needing everything to make sense. And so it's a big lesson for anybody out there who does struggle with OCD, that there is a big calling for you to release that need of control, to release those fears that if you don't do what you always thought you had to do, that the world is going to blow up. So we're going to pick some cards now, and they might relate to the astrology or they might not, but let's see. Gemini rising need to know. We got 3 cards coming out. Beautiful. Wow. Stunning, stunning. We've got the 2 of Cups here. We've also got the Moon, and we've got Awakening. Now the Moon in Tarot, the Moon in astrology is ruled by Cancer, but the Moon in Tarot is ruled by Pisces, which is the natural home of the 12th house. So there is something here about finding connectedness in your world, and being really honest with yourself on a mental level, right? Being able to really communicate with yourself about what you do believe that the world is all about. These are big questions that you are asking yourself, and they might be very subconscious. You might not even realize that it's happening. For you guys, because it's happening in your 12th and your 6th house, there's a lot of subconscious decision making that might be occurring for you, and where you might want to focus on your sickness or, my need to control, my need to organize. What's actually happening is that you are being asked to release and push away from that so that instead you can focus on your more subconscious, intuitive self that is trying to speak to you, that is trying to communicate what you really need to do. I do think that there's a focus on relationships here. I do think there's a focus on one-on-one friendships, romantic partnerships, and seeing that there's something bigger in this relationship than just what you're doing on this earth. Like there's almost a karmic relationship that's happening, and that whatever decisions that you make, yes, they might affect other people, but it doesn't mean that it's going to ruin your relationship to those people. Over the next year and a half, I think there will be some important decisions for you to make, and you will have to think about other people, have to keep those people in mind. But your intuition is going to tell you what it is you really need to do. And although you may consciously want to make a decision based off of what is rationally appropriate, you really have to lean into your subconscious during this time. And you have to lean into that divine feminine voice within you that is speaking on what is best for you right now, on what your path is, what your spiritual path is. So it's a big time of paying attention to your subconscious, your intuition. I also think it's a major time to pay attention to what you might feel like you need to escape from, or any decisions that you make. Are they a form of escaping, or is it you actually taking the bull by the horns and making the choice and not escaping from that reality? So Gemini rising, sun or moon, I hope that was helpful for you. I'm sending you my absolute best. This is a very short reading for everybody, so I hope you're well, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, Cancer people. I've got your little charm here. So for those who are Cancer rising, who are watching this, who are Cancer rising, the North Node is going through your 11th house and the South Node is going through your 5th house. So you may feel like you want to regress back into your childlikeness, into your need to be seen as an individual, into really leaning into your heart's desires. And that is such beautiful energy, especially for me because I'm Leo rising. I love that kind of stuff. But you are being called to push towards the opposite. 11th house is all about sort of the more humanitarian. It's less about what do I want, more about what does everybody in this world need? What can I do for society to progress in the way that I deem appropriate, that I truly want this planet to go in this direction? It's also about large social groups. So maybe if you have social anxiety, there's a focus, there's a comfort in leaning into this 5th house, this heart's desires, all about me, presenting myself, expressing myself creatively, which is great. That means you always have that to pull from, and that is available to you. But the North Node is saying you need to push into this direction. So it's all about being at a large gathering and being a part of a group rather than being above everybody else. So rather than being a leader and like having everybody under you, you are all one collective. And I think that's what you're really being called to lean into during this time over the next 18 months, is really to be a part of a larger group and to see the progress that can be made when people put their heads together, that beautiful growth that can happen when many people put their heads together. So I'm going to pull some cards, and they might relate to your astrology. They might not. So take what resonates. Let's see. What is this time? How is this time affecting the Cancer prominent people? Wow. Wow. Well, 5 cards fell out, but 3 fell up face up, and they are all majors. This is incredible. Whew. So we've got the High Priestess and we've got Judgment, both of which are 2s. This time is really important for you to be in touch with your intuitive self, with your higher self. So if you don't already, pick up that deck of tarot cards. I think it's really important for you to be able to self-reflect by yourself. And that's where you can feed into and fuel that 5th house need to be validated, to express yourself creatively. because it's hard to ask somebody to you have to totally release everything that you feel is unique to you, and you being a human that deserves creative expression, you don't get to experience that. That's not true. You have that South Node there. It is going to be highlighted in some way. So I think it's important for you to find tools to self-reflect and to be able to validate yourself, and then to go out into the world and seek change, seek progress. I think this is a really beautiful time for Cancer risings to be the humanitarians in the world that we do need. This is the Tower card. It's all about systemic change. It's all about breaking what isn't working from the root, from the foundation. And it's all about demolition, so that then you can renovate and create something beautiful from what was sort of trash. And this could be happening in many areas of your life. It doesn't have to be about society. This is just the tarot cards that are coming up for your nodal reading is all about being really in touch with what it is that you want. You've got High Priestess and Judgment, both speaking on you need to be really honest with yourself, especially in relationship to anything. Could be relationship to people, to concepts, to your work, etc. But you are definitely being called over the next year and a half to crumble what is not working so that you can build something even better. Let's see what these cards are. Wow. All right, well, so you got two more majors. This is an intense time for you, Cancers, and I'm sending you so much support. You've got Death and you've got the Lovers. And so this to me says that there are some relationships where before I was saying it's relationships to people, to concepts, to work, any sort of ideologies, because that's 11th houses, concepts and ideas and genius. But we do have Death and the Lovers here, which to me does signify that some of you will be experiencing a large transformation when it comes to your relationships. And not just your relationships to romantic people, but also to your friendships, to partnerships, to work partnerships as well. But I think there's going to be a whole new transformation and rebirth of the way that you approach your relationships. And that could definitely be speaking to that social anxiety that I was speaking on earlier, of maybe even feeling like, why would I even deserve being able to speak up for myself? Or, seeking that validation from others, that you need other people to tell you you are worthy. I think it's important for you to tell yourself that you're worthy and to believe it, right? We can all just say it, but not really believe it. And that's a great step in healing, is just saying it in hopes that one day you will believe it. But this is going to be such a transformational time for you guys. I mean, these nodes are creating sextiles and trines, which means that they are creating opportunities for you, and they are creating an ease of flow when it comes to your growth and your healing and your becoming who you're meant to be, right? The process that you're supposed to be going through right now. And so Cancer rising and Cancer sun and moon too, I really feel like this is going to be a very prominent time for you to grow and to heal and to be able to validate yourself. I just want to say, there might be difficult times ahead. The nodal shift into Taurus and Scorpio might be difficult for you because you are being asked to grow beyond your years right now, to mature when it comes to your relationships. We do have the two, right? I felt these twos and I felt relationships coming through, and the Tower is the number 7. The first thing that came up for me when these cards fell were the numerology, and we got 2 and 7. 2 is all about your relationship to others, and 7 is all about your personal path. So there's huge growth that might be happening for you when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to partnerships, when it comes to who you are giving your energy to. And then we've got the Death and we've got Lovers, which is a 4 and a 6. But mostly I feel this Death and Lovers that is really about transformation when it comes to your relationships. So again, make sure that you're being really kind to yourself over the next year and a half. Treat yourself with the compassion that you do treat others, and make sure that you are sending yourself that love and that care that you do give to others. So I will see you guys next time. I hope that was helpful, and I'm sending you all of my love. Bye. Hello, Leos. I have got your little Leo charm here. So because you are a fixed sign, this nodal shift is going to be affecting you in what we call the angular houses. This is the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th house. So basically it is affecting you a lot. For you personally, you are experiencing the North Node in Taurus in your 10th house and the South Node in Scorpio in your 4th house. So there is a big calling for you to focus on what your goals are when it comes to your work, when it comes to your public persona, when it comes to how the public sees you or how you present yourself to other people in a more public setting, right? The 7th house is really how you present yourself to just everybody. But the 10th house is about your reputation and your goals. So what are your ambitions? And I see that there could be really, really beautiful growth and expansion when it comes to work. So if you are a business owner, or if you are working up the ladder in order to get that promotion that you really want, or that dream job that you're seeking, this is really an opportunity time for you. And then we've got the 4th house, which is all about, and so the South Node in the 4th house, which is going to be all about a release of the emotions, a release of how you emote, a release of how you express your emotions. And it's also about home and family. It's where you feel safe. It's where you feel comfortable and nurtured. So I almost feel, because it's in Scorpio, it's about a rebirth of what comfort means to you. It's a rebirth of where you feel safe, and maybe a deconstruction of what makes you feel safe, right? And then finding that thing that maybe it's all about finding safety everywhere. And so that North Node in Taurus is really being highlighted because you are doing the work under the surface to really make yourself show and shine and radiate in your 10th house in your work. So I'm going to pull some cards. They might be related to the astrology and they might not. So let's just see what they have to say for Leo rising people and Leo sun and moon. Beautiful. Okay, so first off, we've got Justice. It's really about finding the balance, and then under, I just had to look. We got Strength too. So and Strength is ruled by Leo. But let's talk on Justice first. It's really all about finding the balance. I do think that the South Node is really going to be intense for you, because it's going to be at the 4th house. That's right at the base, at your foundation. Your emotional foundational self is really going to be asked to purge or to release and to let go. And then you might be finding that you have a lot of success in your work life. If it doesn't happen in your work and home life, it's in some access on some opposition. There's a lot of work that's going to be going on in releasing something, and a lot of work that's going into succeeding at something else. And it may even feel like I'm succeeding so much when it comes to, let's use work as an example. When it comes to work, I'm really succeeding, I'm doing great, but why am I still not happy? Why am I not feeling that success in every inch of my body? Because you have to find the balance that you are also doing intense work. And so where there might be moments of intense exhilaration, right? There are going to be ups and downs during this time for you over the next 18 months. It's all about finding the balance and being able to accept that you can't have all ups, just like you won't have all downs. So accepting that balance and looking at it really honestly, right? Rather than getting really emotionally attached to it. I almost feel like it's hard because Scorpio's water sign, a 4th house is a water house. So it's easy to get sucked into the emotional work that you're doing. But I think you have to use that practicality that the 10th house gives to us. It gives us reason, it gives us goals, it gives us ambition, and it doesn't sit in the emotion of it. And so I think that's going to be really important for you to not sit in the emotion of it all. Instead, to see this emotional work that you're doing from a bird's eye view. And then we've got Strength. You are going to be asked to be strong throughout this year. I almost feel like some spirit guides are coming through being like, we are not going to coddle you. Not this year, but over the next year and a half. We're not here to coddle you. This is now when you are going to be finding your strength, finding that Leo quality in you, being able to act from the heart, being able to act with courage, with bravery, with boldness, being unapologetically yourself, expressing yourself. So let's see what else comes up for you. Well, I saw a card that popped out, but didn't pop out fully. Ah, interesting. We got the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is really time for you to delve into the work that you're doing, the honing of your craft. And if you are a Leo rising watching this, definitely the workplace, the work life setting, it is important for you to hone your craft when it comes to it, to really get good at what you want to be doing for work. So for those of you who are feeling a little bit stuck in whatever job you're in, find the job that you want and then study and then work. Put the work in to get that job. You can do this. You've got the strength within you. You have got this Leo boldness that is really going to push you to do what your heart wants you to do. Leo rules the heart. It rules the warmth that your heart holds, and it holds passion. So putting in the work is going to be really important for you, and that's that 10th house activity for sure. Let's see what else. My goodness. Feeling this card. Yeah. There's really so much abundance that can come your way. Because you are a fixed sign, these are affecting you in intense ways. The nodes are squaring whatever it is you're looking at, your rising, your sun, your moon, even your Venus. The nodes are squaring whatever Leo activity you have. So it's going to feel like friction. But this friction is going to push you to do the work and to move forward and seek this abundance. And also that optimism that that abundance does exist. So keep that in mind, Leo. You have got this. I'm really excited to see where this goes for you. Let me know what you're experiencing right now. Gemini and Sag is nearly done. We are up into Taurus and Scorpio so soon, and it's going to be lasting for 18 months. So I'm sending you all my love. I hope you are well. I hope you are holding up and taking care of yourself, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right. Hello, Virgos. I've got your little Virgo charm here. Beautiful. So the North Node, if you're Virgo rising, is going to be going through your 9th house, and the South Node through your 3rd house. So really, you're going to be called to assess your beliefs and to really look at what you achieve to collect, like in information. It's about seeking that higher education, seeking that higher connection to self, to others, to justice even. And not justice in that Libran way of balance, but more about what is right, what is the truth. And so it's important for you to be seeking that truth in your life. Also about larger communities. It's about other people, foreign people, people that are just different from you, that don't come from the same backgrounds. And you are releasing this very close-knit community. It's about letting go of smaller communication so that you can push forward into having even a larger audience, maybe having a larger group of people that you can communicate with, and broadening your horizons, getting to know different perspectives of the world. I think you're probably going to be releasing old ways of communicating, releasing old habits, old mental patterns is going to be important for you. And I also think that maybe there's going to be some release when it comes to your siblings, right? If there's old patterns or habits or ways of regressing into who you used to be as a kid with a sibling, it's going to be important for you to let go of that over the next 18 months for sure. All right, so let's pick some cards. They might relate to the astrology or they might not, depending on what you guys need to hear. So, Virgos. Oh man, let's check this guy out. So we've got the 8 of Wands. It feels, because the 3rd and the 9th house are mutable houses, they go with the flow. And Virgo also is a mutable sign, but Virgo likes a system of order. It likes to have organization. It likes to make sense of things. So I think that this time might feel like an uprooting, because you have always collected information in a certain way. You have always analyzed information in a certain way. You've always communicated in a way that worked for you. And now you are being asked to communicate in a way that allows for other people's perspectives. And this might feel like a bit of a tornado, like you are trying to control the situation. I think there's a lot about releasing the need to control whatever is going on in your life. That there are people with other opinions, with other perspectives, and that's okay. That doesn't make them wrong. And for you to stick to what your truth is, which is fine, and other people might not agree with you. And that is fine too. That you get to speak your truth. You get to discuss what you believe is fair, but you can't control how other people receive your information. You can't control the way other people receive the way that you communicate. And so I think that's what I think a big part of that release is releasing the need to communicate in a way of, these are all the facts, when maybe they're actually just your opinions, or maybe just your facts, your truth. So that's that. Let's see what else comes up for you guys. We've got the 2 of Wands. I feel like travel is going to be really important for you over the next 18 months. I mean, it even being in your 9th house is highlighting like go see other parts of the world, go see foreign people, go meet foreign, like other cultures, and expanding your horizons on what the world even looks like. And then we literally have this Two of Wands, this person looking at their globe. So I do think that travel is going to be really important for you. And it might mean that you're leaving a lot of things up in the air, like this Eight of Wands sort of indicates. But I think there's a lot of growth and a lot of expansion, a lot of positivity that can come from seeing a whole new perspective of the world. And where maybe you would have always communicated in a way of like, well, this is my truth, so it has to be fact. By seeing and broadening your horizons, seeing how the world really works in larger ways, you might open up a little bit, and you might even feel a little bit more relaxed, Virgos, which, like, I feel you. Sometimes it's hard to relax because there's so many things that need to get done. But this next 18 months for you is really about a release of the need to control everything that needs to get done. Instead of trying to manage all of these Eight Wands that want to act the way that they do, just go do your own thing and explore and have a good time receiving new information from different perspectives. It's going to be really eye-opening, I feel like. All right, let's see. What else do we need to know? How can we handle this best? Queen of Wands. I really feel like it's time for you to sit in your fiery power. Feel like you have to feel empowered as an individual, but I also think that there's maybe a tendency to be a little bit stubborn, which, like, just not trying to call you out, but like we all have some air of stubbornness within us. So maybe you need to release that stubbornness that I do know everything. But on the flip side, also feeling empowered that you believe in what you believe in, and you don't need other people to validate what you believe, because it's sitting in your truth. All right, that Queen of Wands, I love that. It's very fiery. It feels very much like this earthy Virgo sign needs to find a fiery partner even. I feel like maybe you can meet some Sagittarius or some Aries people. Leos, yes, but not as much. I'm not feeling Leo as much, but Aries and Sag I'm definitely feeling could be a large influence for you in this time. We've got the Ten of Swords. Yeah, I feel like you could think yourself into spirals and spirals and spirals. The overthinking needs to be cut down. And instead of thinking about everything that you're going to do, just take action, just do it, and see what happens. See what happens when you decide to explore and to discover and to find new opportunities and new pathways and, you know, creating your own pathways. It's all about exploration and discovery for you. I think that some of you might be called to go into higher education school too. You know, if you're thinking of getting your graduate degree or even your bachelor's degree, there is definitely opportunity for that too. But really make sure that you think about it and make sure that that's something you really want and what it is that you're planning on doing with it after the fact. Because you could just do this thing just for the sake of doing it and then not using it in the future. So just be really mindful of that. All right, I hope that was helpful. I'm sending you a lot of love. I hope you take care of yourself, drink a lot of water, send yourself love too, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, so Libras, I have got your beautiful little chart here. So we have officially passed the halfway mark, which means that the nodes now are switching. So your North node is going through the 8th house. Sorry, the North node is going through your 8th house, and the South node is going through your 2nd house. So I think it's important for you to release what is tangible, what is like financial success to you, releasing the need to have that tangible foundation that you can build on. I think you're really being called, this North node in the 8th house is really calling you to do the healing work, to do the emotional work. And yes, you could do all the financial, you could really succeed financially, but that is not what you are being called to do right now. You are being asked to look into the depth of your emotion, look into the depth of your psyche even. The 8th house is all about psyche, and it's also about death and rebirth. All of that transformative, deep healing energy is held in that 8th house. Hello, Boo decided to come join us for this little one. Hi, Boogies. Yep, not interested. Thank you. Anyway, so Libra, for you, where you might feel like you really want to just stick to what feels natural, what feels harmonious and balanced, you are actually being asked to look into those more difficult and emotional patterns, habits that are being held in your psyche. A lot of growth and transformation can be happening during this time. And it's also a time of inheritance and of other people's money. So that might be something that's happening for you too. Other people's money might be coming to you, which is a highlighted activity for you. And it's all about a release of your own personal finances. So not stressing out about what you're going to do in order to get this money, and also not stressing out about what your core values are as much. You have those available to you at all times. You don't need to be focusing on it all of the time. So let's pick some cards. Let's see what comes up for you. It could be related to the astrology or could not. Ooh, we've got the Two of Wands. These things feel really intermingled. The second and the eighth house for you feels really intermingled right now. And I'm wondering what aspect of it is, because it could be finances, it could be your values, it could be your emotional depth that you really need to, I don't know, like focus in on. I need to sit with this for a minute, because it does feel like there's some sort of entanglement and some sort of exploration that needs to happen. I almost feel like your finances are heavily tied with somebody else's finances, and that's going to be really highlighted during this time. That maybe you will be gaining an inheritance, or maybe you will be given a gift of money from somebody else. And so that's why you need to not focus on your personal finances so much, because I think you're really well protected during this time. It could also be a heavily emotional time. So you might not be willing to see the opportunity there, because you might feel so clouded in like how certain areas of your life are dying off and being reborn, right? And so growing a whole new life for yourself. Let's see, what area is this speaking in? Because I do feel like it's money. I feel like finances is going to be big for you. There we go. We've got the King of Cups. So definitely a sitting solidly in your emotional growth. Not allowing others to judge the way that you are evolving right now. The next 18 months, the next year and a half is going to be a large growth of self, but in a much more internal way. It isn't everybody else is going to see the growth that you're doing. It is really, you're going to feel a very personal shift within yourself. And it's not about how other people perceive you or, kind of push their vision of or perception of you onto you. It's really about sitting in that emotional growth that you are experiencing for yourself. And this Two of Wands is about exploration. Explore yourself, even about your sexuality, maybe being able to really look at yourself. This King of Cups, I don't normally see this in him, but he is looking at you so plainly, and he is not shaming or judging himself. He just knows that he is what he is. And I think it's important for you to step into who you know deep down who you are. And that could be when it comes to your finances, to your sexuality, to your emotional, maybe even some abuse in the past or past life pains that have happened. It's a really time to lean into that healing and that acceptance of self on a core inner level. That's what's really happening for you. So let's pick a couple more cards. Wow, we've got the Knight of Swords and the Page of Cups. I feel like you are going to be kicking transformation's ass. Like I feel like you feel like you're not mentally prepared for it, but when push comes to shove over the next year and a half, you are going to kick its butt. I feel like you are really going to be more prepared than you think you are. And I think there's some fear right now. And that's fair, because here I am saying like you're going to be experiencing death and rebirth when it comes to money, love, finances, money, love, and finances, but finances, emotional growth, your psyche is going to be experiencing a large development. And that's kind of scary. Those are intense things to think about. The eighth house are sort of those repressed emotions that we don't want to think about or talk about out loud. We want to keep those to ourselves. And so there's some fear there, and that's fine. But I just want you to know that you do have the power to handle it. And I think when push comes to shove, you are going to handle it very, very well. We've got the Page of Cups, which again, allow yourself to have this willingness, this openness to whatever is going to come. That's that exploratory, that discovery sort of feeling. That you do have what it takes to emotionally handle this, right? She's the Page of Cups, not Wands, not Pentacles, right? So she knows that she has the emotional capacity and the key to unlock beautiful growth, right? Hidden gems within herself. She's got the lock right in her heart there. So you know in your core self that you can accept whatever part of your life is being highlighted during this nodal shift. It's just a matter of being pushed enough to freaking do it. And you have got that strength. Thanks for allowing Boo to be in on this, because she seems really interested in the Libra pile. Yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. I'm sending you a lot of love. This feels a little crazed. I feel a little crazed just reading these cards. So make sure you take care of yourself, drink the water, send yourself love, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, so Scorpio, I have got your dice. My Scorpio charm was just hiding from me. So something about you guys didn't want to be seen, which is fair. I understand. Because you are a fixed sign, this is going to be affecting you in your angular houses, which means that it's going to be affecting you in a much more active way. It's going to be highlighted. It's going to feel like it is on camera at all times, right? Like it's really being activated and highlighted right now. So what is happening is your south node is, or the south node is going through your first house, and the north node is going through your seventh house. So it may feel like there is a shedding of your, or like a purging of your identity, of who you have always pushed yourself as, or who you've always perceived yourself as. And there's going to be a push to really experience your relationships in a very tangible, value-based, loving way, right? The North Node in Taurus transiting your seventh house, this might be a great time for you to find your person, to find, or even what you want your person to be, right? To find that inner understanding of what you need in a partner. And it could be romantic, it could be platonic, could be work even, it could be just any partnership, any one-on-one relationship is really being highlighted during this time. And I think that you might even find what you truly value when it comes to your relationships, because the North Node is going through that seventh house. So let's pull some cards. It might relate to the astrology, it might not. But I guess before I go into that, just that purging of identity. Well, I looked at the bottom of the deck. You got the hanged man, the hanged muse. But we'll get to that in a second. The purging in the first house, I don't want you to feel like you're going to be a shell of a human, because that's not the case. But it does feel like there's going to be a transformation, because it's the south node. It's already all about release, and it's in Scorpio, all about transformation, deep healing, deconstruction in order to reconstruct. It may feel like you are experiencing a whole makeover, right? You're experiencing, oh my gosh, the world comes up. All right, so I usually say that we're going to do your tarot reading. It might relate to the astrology, it might not, but these cards are here to speak. So I'm just going to speak on these first two cards. You've got the Hanged Muse, which is the Hangman, and the World. And I feel like there might, because you're a fixed sign, these are affecting you in a very active way over the next year and a half, the 18 months that the nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio. They are affecting the fixed signs very, very much. I feel flustered just speaking, which is not normally how I feel. So there's something about feeling overwhelmed by all of the experiences that you're going to have over the next year and a half. And that's what the World card was really saying, is that you may feel like the whole world is crumbling, or you may feel like the whole world is just becoming something that you can't follow, that you don't understand, that isn't easy to follow. And the advice that the cards are telling you are to just release and to surrender to this rebirth that you are going to be experiencing, because there is intense beauty that comes from finding what you really value in your people, in your relationships, in your friendships. And that's what you get to experience over the next year and a half. With the North Node in Taurus in your seventh house, it's all about the beauty and the value that you hold to the people that you allow into your life, the safety, the stability, the dependability that is in your relationships, whether it's you or whether it's them giving that, it is there. And that's what really needs to be focused on. So let's see what else this, you got strength, you are getting the majors. Strength is ruled by Leo, so that would be in your fourth house. No, it would be in your 10th house. So it's all about your goals, your ambitions, your dreams, your reputation, how you're seen in public, your career. But we're not going to focus on that too much. But it does feel like you're going to be called to find your strength during this time, during this year and a half. And if you are able to really sit in your power, sit in that empowered state, there's some real growth, beauty, transformation that's going to come your way. And I think there's some real self-acceptance that's really going to come your way for Scorpio, because you do have that first house being activated. Being able to accept the self despite what other people are thinking is going to be really, really beautiful for you. All right, so let's pick some more cards. I feel like these fixed signs need a little extra support. All right, let's see what we got. You've got the Ace of Wands. This is going to be a really great time for you to take action, to move forward. I think decisions will be made. I think actions will be taken. I think you're really going to make, like, you're going to, what is it, like leaps and bounds. I feel like you're going to be moving leaps and bounds ahead of where you thought you would be this time right now. But once these nodes shift, you're going to feel much more active. You're going to feel like you have control over where your destiny is, or what your destiny is. So you have free will, and that free will is going to lead you towards whatever path you're supposed to be on. Really beautiful. I think you're going to be very inspired during this time. And I think you're going to feel much more present in your life, because I feel like maybe you weren't feeling very present in your life. We've got the Eight of Swords and the High Priestess. Yeah. No longer hiding from what you truly think. No longer hiding from who you are. I think that's going to be really beautiful for you. There could be, information here about your sexual identity, or your gender identity, or just any sort of how you identify, who you really allow yourself to be during this time. So I think it's important for you to tune into that. I see a lot of this like ray imagery, the sun imagery, the circle imagery. It's all a big full circle. There's no escaping this work. And I think you may want to escape for a moment, but it's really about letting go and surrendering and allowing the work to be done. And then eventually you'll find that you're the one taking the action and getting that work done. So Scorpio, I hope that was helpful for you. I'm sending you my best. I hope you take care of yourself. You are a fixed sign. This is going to be affecting you. It's going to be active. So I'm sending love your way, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right. So Sagittarius rising. I have your little charm here. So the North Node is going through your 6th house. If you are a Sag rising, if you're Sun or Moon, this is still going to affect you, the energy of this, because it's going to be in relationship to that Sun or Moon. But essentially, in general, the North Node is going through the 6th house, and the South Node is going through the 12th house, which means that it's important for you to focus on the systems of order. It's important for you to focus on your routines, your day-to-day life, the minutia of your days, like how you go about every day. It's important for you to focus on those details. And you might need to release, although you can always pull from this bag, you might need to release that idea that you have to be actively involved in your subconscious. So actively seeking your intuitive self. You can let go of that, because that's always going to be there. You're always going to have that intuitive self available to you. Now is the time for you to focus on the minutia, on the details, on your mental health, on your health in general, really focusing on the body, and also focusing on how you serve others, how you provide service to others, how you provide something of value to other people, and how they provide that to you. It's also a time of focusing on your pets. So maybe this would be a good time for you to get pets, right? And so they're serving you in that they provide you with this companionship, and you're serving them in the way that you are feeding them, you're caring for them, you're basically mothering or fathering this fur baby. So we're going to pull some cards. It could relate to the astrology or it could not. We will see. So let's see how this nodal shift will be affecting these Sagittarians here. Interesting. So we got the 5 of Cups that jumped out. Nothing else just yet. But the 5 of Cups jumped out. And it's so interesting because Sagittarius is definitely the sign that I would equate to seeing the glass half full, right? So this is a time where the daily routine, the focus on the minutia, it might be a little overwhelming because Sagittarius likes to see the bigger picture. It likes to see other perspectives and like just see from a bird's eye view, right? Not focusing in on every little detail. We like to see the bigger picture. And so this might bring you a little bit of difficulty. And also with that 12th house, maybe mental health is really going to be
active right now. So make sure that you do things in a preventative way. And that's what these mutable houses, which is the 6th, the 12th, the 3rd, and the 9th, but because you're highlighted in the 6th and the 12th, that is all about prevention, right? Of having a system of order, having some sort of system that you have in place so that when this 5 of Cups moment happens, when you feel upset over spilled milk or not even spilled milk, if you're feeling an episode of depression or mental health crisis, that you have a system to rely on during that time. And because you as a Sagittarius innately have this ability to be optimistic and to see the bigger picture, sometimes that can be overwhelming too, though. And if you're not feeling that optimism, it makes that time in your life that much harder because you are so good at seeing the bright side or seeing the silver lining. Let's see what else we've got for Sagittarius. The 8 of Swords. Yeah, so that sort of speaks to that 12th house, that intuitive self, that there might be some tendency to escape. So I would be really careful about taking any sort of drugs or starting any kind of medicine that pulls you out of reality, or even just like numbing out, watching a lot of TV. Just watch out for those habits, those tendencies. And we've got this 10 of Cups at the bottom. And I think there is just this want for the perfect life, the perfect family, and you're setting yourself up with these huge expectations. And even if you do put these systems of order in, of prevention, whenever these sort of crises do come up, it's still going to be, you're still going to have those expectations of, well, I did all the work to prep for this. I did all the work to prepare my daily routine, my day-to-day, my minutia, my, the mundane activity. I did all that work to prevent these crises, and they're still happening. So just make sure not to set too high of expectations for yourself. And Sagittarius can tend to be a little self-righteous too. So those expectations are really being, I feel like they're being really plugged in to you. You have these innate expectations of yourself over the next 1.5 years to 18 months. And so you need to not be so upset with yourself if you don't reach that high bar that you set for you. Set the same bar that you set for other people, because you are only human. Let's see. The 2 of Cups. That's beautiful. This has nothing to do with the astrology, but it feels like you can really rely on the people that bring you joy and happiness. And maybe it does relate to the astrology, because that 6th house, being of service to others, bringing joy to others and having people bring joy to you, that is service. It doesn't mean you have to go out and run people's errands. It doesn't mean you have to, do their books for them, or, whatever it is that you feel like I have to do something tangible to make them feel like I'm valuable. If you bring joy and if they bring joy to you, that is the service that you are providing. Just like I said with pets. They are bringing that companionship. That's not something tangible, right? They're not doing your taxes for you. They're just bringing you love, unconditional love, and giving you opportunity to play, right? Like exploring and playing. So really relishing in the relationships that you do find this joy in. And I think that this is really going to solidify, if you are feeling like you're having some health crises or some mental health issues during this time, that you'll really be able to relate to the people that do bring you joy, that serve you in that way, that warm up your heart. All right, I hope that was helpful for you. I'm sending you a lot of love, Sagittarius, and I guess I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, so Capricorn, I have got your charm here, and your North Node is going through your 5th house, which is the house of expression from the heart, of creative outlets, of being seen, and of self-validation of your heart's desires, and also of like children, babies. So in a way, procreation, having sex to create babies, which means that the South Node is happening in your 11th house. Hello, Boo. She's been visiting. So essentially, you are leaving behind this seeking of, almost like humanitarian visions of the future of what everybody is doing as a collective. And instead you are focusing on what your heart wants. And this can be an intense time for you to really acknowledge and assess and reflect on what it is you really want. Just what your heart needs, what your soul needs on a warming level. This could be, if you're trying, it would be a great time to maybe start trying to have kids, or, opening yourself up to that sort of viewpoint or that sort of perspective, that time in your life of, well, do I want kids? Or if that's not the case, it's about finding your own childlike wonder, right? Getting to find that sense of play again, getting to just play around, explore, discover with no strings attached. So let's pull some cards. They might relate to the astrology, they might not. We will see what Capricorn needs to know about this nodal shift. Wow, we've got the Two of Inspiration, which is the Two of Wands. Yeah, I think exploration is going to be really important for you. Look at her with her telescope there. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there you go. She's got her telescope there and she is seeking something out there. I think she's seeking passion. And so for you, I think this time is going to be really important to discover what you are passionate about, what your heart is really involved in. And I think for you, it's going to be important to open up to other people's perspectives and lives. We've got the Queen of Swords here. Communication is going to be really important. I think you're going to have to involve other people in what you're doing, which maybe for a Capricorn is a little difficult because you want to have control over the situation. You want to have autonomy. But I think you are being called to speak up on what your experience is. And that's what the fifth house is all about. It's about expression of self. It's about creative expression, but also just expression through the heart of what you truly know in your heart to be true. So expression is going to be really important. Exploration, discovery is also going to be really important. Let's see what else comes up for you. Ace of Swords, finding your voice, I think. Even if you don't know what it is that you're trying to speak up about, even if you don't know what your expression of self is, then that's what this is about for you. It's about finding your voice. It's about finding what it is you want to say, what it is you need to express. And then it's about finding the modality through which you can express, through exploration, through discovery. I almost feel like artistic ventures could be really prominent for you because it is about finding the best way that you feel you can put what's in your heart out in a tangible way to what people can experience in a tangible way. Because I think your voice really needs to be heard during this time, Capricorn. Yeah, there's intense wisdom. I mean, look at that Ace of Swords. There's wisdom through speaking out. And it doesn't have to be through the voice, right? Like this Ace of Voices, she's not even speaking through her voice. She's got it just channeled straight into her brain. And so this wisdom is really coming out. It's really beautiful. And her expression of self through her hair. I think color is going to be really important for you. I think if you're a visual artist, like finding new modalities like painting, charcoal, watercolor, like how are you going to express yourself through the color, the vibrancy that you feel? I think it's really important for you to learn how to radiate and emanate this joyful expression of self is really going to be, I think it could be really, really beautiful for you. Let's see what else. My voice is going a little hoarse because 10 piles is a lot. All right, so yep, we've got the Six of Wands, which is literally the you show, whatever your name is. If your name is Celia, it's the Celia show. Margaret, it's the Margaret show. Let me know if there's a Celia or Margaret watching this because you guys came through strong. But it is all about you and expressing yourself and letting yourself be seen, letting yourself be heard and validating yourself, your own existence, validating your heart's desires because you know that those are your heart's desires and they are valid despite what anybody else says. And the Three of Pentacles. Growing something from it. You are starting this new journey, this new path is kind of being explored by you. And so you might feel alone in it sometimes, or you might feel like you don't know what you're doing. And that's because you don't. You're paving a whole new path. You don't know where you're going to end up. It's about the exploration and it's about the discovery. That's what you really need to hold true to yourself. So that is your message. I hope that was helpful for you, Capricorn. I'm sending a lot of love your way. Make sure that you drink a lot of water, that you take care of yourself, you give yourself the kindness and compassion that you do offer to others. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, Aquarius, I've got your little charm here. So the North Node is going through your 4th house, which means the South Node is going through your 10th. And that is because you are a fixed sign, it means that your angular houses are being activated. This is going to be an active time of change, of growth, of exploration, and of transformation. Because the 10th and the 4th house are both called angles, it's the midheaven and the nadir. You are really highlighting your home and family life as well as your emotional security. over the next 18 months, the next year and a half, you are really going to be focusing on your emotions, your ability to emote, which I know there's already Aquarians who are like, nope, signing off, not doing this. But that's what you're going to be called to do anyway. You have to focus on your emotional safety, what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel secure, as well as your home and family life. That's going to be highlighted. Your South Node is in the 10th house, or the South Node is in your 10th house, which means that you may feel an inkling to just lean into your goals, your ambitions, your reputation. It's a little less emotional, right? It's very practical and like, this is who I am publicly. This is what I allow others to see of me. But despite that being a comfortable place, you are going to be called into doing some healing work when it comes to your home, your family life, and your emotional safety and security. So let's pull some cards. They might be related to the astrology, they might not. Look at that. We got the Queen of Swords. This is the Aquarius card. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. That just because you will be having to focus on some of the more emotional elements of your life, that doesn't mean it's going to make you any less Aquarius. I love the sign Aquarius. You guys are unique. You are one of a kind. You have a unique path that only you understand. And that is not going to change just because you have to look at your emotions and look at those more domestic themes, that home, that family, even though you're out trailblazing. So just know that the next year and a half, it doesn't have to change your identity. It's just changing the way that you emote, the way that you acknowledge your emotions or accept or validate your emotions. It also might change your goals. Yeah, we got the King of Wands here. You are still in charge during this time. And I think there might be a time, or there might be a point during this period that you feel like you don't have any control over the situation. You don't have any control over your emotions, which is sort of hard for Aquarius to, it's a hard pill for Aquarius to swallow. But you do have power and control over what actions that you take. So this King of Wands knows what he wants and he goes after it. But look at this one, making a plan. I just love that there's sort of this exploration that's happening and just that allowing yourself to explore. It doesn't mean you have to change anything. You're a fixed sign, so it might be a little bit difficult for you to allow change into your life. But it doesn't mean you have to change anything. It just means, why not try a little bit? Why not explore? Why not delve into the emotions of it a little bit just for now? And then in the next year and a half, after this year and a half in Taurus and Scorpio, you might not have to deal with it. Great, that's perfect. But for now, that is what you're being called to do. And to really assess what your home and family situation is, to look into it and give yourself that respect and that honor that you get to respect that home and family is important to you, where maybe in the past you've tried to be a little cold to it or close yourself off to that sort of, I don't know, theme in your life. Allow yourself to look into your home and family life. Allow yourself to look into how you do relate to your own emotions, how you relate to other people's emotions. I feel like your relationship to your mother could be really highlighted during this time. Or if not that, the way that your relationship to your mother was in the past, and how that sort of shaped who you are now, that could be really highlighted too. Let's see what else comes up in these cards. What is the best way to go about this for Aquarius? Ooh, hello, we got 4 cards. We've got the Empress, we've got the Knight of Cups, we got Strength, and we got the Ace of Cups. Yeah, it is just going to be important for you to delve into emotion and to delve into it quickly. The quicker that you get into it, the quicker it's going to be over with. That's sort of the theme for you. And once you do get that work done, then you just get to relish in the beauty that the North Node in the 4th house does bring you. And you've got the Empress and Strength. I think it's important for you to embody it fully. Embody that growth, embody the feminine beauty that it is to explore and to allow these emotional ventures, to come through, and the strength that you're going to gain from it. I really am feeling like the sooner you get started on it, the sooner it'll be over, and the sooner you get to reap the rewards of all of that work that you've done. So, little short reading, but seemed very short and concise. Sending you a lot of love, hoping you're all very well, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, Pisces. We've got your little charm here. So the North Node is going through your 3rd house and the South Node is traveling through your 9th house, which means that you are going to be feeling a large push to focus on your local community, to focus on how you communicate best, and sort of to release your need to explore the vastness of the world and exploring many other perspectives. It's about exploring what is close to you now, exploring what your small community is, your neighborhood even, like making yourself a voice in your community. And if not that, it's about expressing yourself through your words, through verbalization or vocalization. I feel like poetry would be a great way for you to express, especially as a Pisces. You already have that innate creativity within you. And then for North Node to be hitting your third house of communication, I think that would be a great way to express yourself in a creative way, but also using that verbalization, that communication aspect. So we're going to pull some cards now, and they might relate to the astrology and they might not. We've already got 2 cards that fell out. Let's see what they are. Got the High Priestess and the Ace of Swords. My goodness. I think this would be a great time for you to begin channeling. If you are a spiritual person, as a Pisces can tend to be, if you feel a connectedness to the universe, it is a great time to connect with your higher self, and also a great time to open these channels of communication with your spirit guides. I think new ideas are going to come to you. I think new ways of communication are going to be coming to you as well. I think mediumship might be prevalent for you, prominent, or even if it's not that, if it's not something big, huge like that, could just be pulling cards for yourself. I think mercurial energy is going to be quite prominent for you. So for any of you who do have Mercury in your third house, this is really going to be affecting the way that you choose to communicate to others, but also to the self. Because it is local community, it's all about almost an inner communication. And so communicating with people who are like you, communicating with people that understand what you're going through, that's going to be really important for you during this time. Let's see what else comes up for you. Oh, all right, guys, you're not getting too much. Oh, Queen of Wands, speak of the devil. Not speak of the devil, but anyway, whatever you got. So the Queen of Wands is coming up. I think it's going to be important for you to really step into your power, step into the power of your voice too. And it's funny because the last pile I was losing my voice because I've been doing these readings. And once it came to Pisces, my voice sort of came back. So it's kind of interesting that it's time for you to step into your voice, step into your power. And I almost feel like when I said your local community, people who are like you, I almost feel like there's a sense that you don't belong in your community, in your neighborhood. There's a sense that you feel like you are the odd one out or you don't fit in. And I think it's time for you to lean into that and to communicate that to others, because that's when you're going to start finding other people coming out of their little caves and saying, hey, me too, I also feel like I don't fit in here. So for those of you that are living in small towns, or even those of you that are living in New York City, something like a huge city, you still belong where you are because you are there. And so to validate that your voice deserves to be heard, I think is going to be really important for you over the next year and a half. And I think it's going to build a community. I think you are being called to be a community builder during this time. And because you have that Pisces influence, you're going to bring soul to it anyway. And other souls are going to be coming forward and having a karmic connection with you. And this 10 of Cups, beautiful emotional connections with other people. That's what's really coming to you. I think this is a great time if you're thinking about like building a community center, or maybe even starting a business that has to do with bringing communities together. This is a really great time to do that. That North Node going through your third house or hitting you in that specific way because you are a Pisces is really going to be, it's going to be really prominently abundant. So accepting that you are going to be a community builder, you are going to be a leader because you have this High Priestess. You are innately already really connected to what the universe has to say. And this Queen of Wands is unapologetically herself. Let's see what else comes up. We've got the 9 of Swords. You're kind of like, I don't want to hear it. Please don't tell me about it. I think some of you might be a little bit like, please don't push this on me. I'm not ready for that. And that's fine. You might not be ready for it. And it's going to take some soul searching. This Hermit card was just at the bottom. It's going to take some soul searching to know that your voice is important. Your voice does need to be heard by other people. You need to express yourself in a communicative way. You need to use your words to show who you are because people need to see who you are. All right, one last card I was going to say, and then one just literally flew out. I don't know if you saw that. And it was the 3 of Cups. The card of community, the card of beautiful emotional bonding, beautiful feminine relationships being built, people of all different backgrounds that suddenly show up in your local community that also felt like they didn't fit in. I feel like this is going to be a great time for you to like create your group of misfits, right? And then you all feel like you have this sense of belonging. So take that with you. Be brave, be yourself, communicate openly and loudly, and show yourself as the unique misfit that you are. So Pisces, I hope that was helpful. I'm sending you a lot of love. I'm sending you a lot of courage, because I think that's what you really need during this time. Enjoy this nodal shift where you get to express your unique self, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.